the game,
But you
baby.
can tell the people who worked on this thing are definitely fans.
As always, subscribe for more if you're new. Hit that notification bell and set it to all so you'll be notified when all of my streams and videos are up and live. And so you'll be, and also so you'll be notified when my new series drops. When the first episode of my new series on my 2 games that I'm getting drops.
Based off the film with the same name, in fact, actually being released the same week as the movie. And at this point, you're probably hoping that this one might live up to its namesake and be half decent to play through. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news because it ain't. And this one's bad for a different kind of reason. I think simply because of just how utterly boring it is to play through.
Looks like it!
Terminator Salvation is the most generic third-person shooter I think I've ever played. And had it not had that Terminator brand slapped onto it, being milked for all it's worth at this point, I doubt anyone would have even touched this thing.
That looks like it did some damage.
I don't know what the general consensus is with the movie at this point. I know people on the internet have this habit of suddenly acting like something that's always been bad is now simply good because enough time has passed. But all I know is that I thought the movie sucked. I saw it in the cinemas with my mate at the time and we both hated it. We could bury our sorrows right afterwards with a heavy ingestion of alcohol. So before I even violated my Xbox 360 by loading this thing up, my expectations were already at the bottom. And yet, I was still... This one was developed by a company called Grid, and the key word here being was, because this is yet again another Terminator game that ironically terminated an entire
Bridgeworth.
in the same
The
way the
forest of
recent
Saxon
films
swords
terminate
awaits
the credibility of anyone who
within
says
those
they
walls of
like them.
stone. I should consult with Bassam. He will be nearby.
The only other thing these guys made that was ever really all that noteworthy was the PC port for Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, which is without a doubt the worst version of that game that ever got released.
What have you
See ya!
Bridge was swarmed with
That's
guards,
kind of what
reinforced from the river. Word is that two of Fulke's finest oversee such matters.
We should kill these leaders and burn their ships. Crippled and put to panic, their men will be in no place to join Fulke at Portchester.
Frightened men look to their own interests. A good plan.
Instead being not much more than just a loading grunt.
Blair, I want you and Connor to focus on shooting it down. You got any extra RPGs lying around?
After a brief prologue, which really goes nowhere, John suddenly decides to veer days off course to find and rescue a squad of 3 that stuck out in no man's land under
Gods here
attack.
are vigilant.
And let's just analyse this right off the bat, right? The so-called brilliant military leader who would go on to lead the final push against Skynet decides to just head off by himself into a wasteland filled with cyborgs to rescue a small group of soldiers who may not even be alive by the time he gets there, if he even finds them.
What are you doing, John?
Taking some responsibility!
Seems a bunch of voice actors also lent their voice talents here, aside from Christian Bale though, who I guess had the good sense to stay as far away from this thing as possible.
Why are you talking like this?
The guy playing Connor though kind of sounds like he's doing a bad Bale impression, only it's not nearly as fun to listen to as the Arnold one from Redemption was. Now I do think visually the world does look kind of interesting, even if it is the most Unreal Engine 3 looking game I've ever seen, which is kind of odd for me to say considering it doesn't even run on the Unreal 3 engine. The way the world has been presented is also kind of appealing. You're moving to these decayed cities that humanity's left behind. Abandoned environments where the grass is bush and grown over buildings and across highways, and it's almost kind of like The Last of Us before The Last of Us was a thing. But don't let that fool you because this is still one of the most boring third-person shooters with regenerating health, a weapon limit, cover mechanics, and shoulder range. Which is kind of odd then too, how they just also completely overlooked all the other basic quality of life inclusions you can kind of expect to see in a
No
game
more
like this.
sailing for
I mean,
these
despite the game
Saxons.
being almost entirely cover-based, there's no option to vault over cover, and you can't even jump. There's no kind of sprint button, you can't dodge roll to avoid attacks, and you can't even swap shoulders when aiming weapons. During the peak of the 6th generation consoles, at a time when games like Gears of War were well established, for something like this to just lack so many basic features is a big fuck up. Add in things like aiming acceleration and that regenerating health that takes the dark age on this giant ship. But the worst thing is the enemy riding or the absolute lack thereof. Throughout the entire game, you're really only going to be fighting the same 2 or 3 enemies. You're either fighting these flying drone things which zip all over the place, making the shotgun essential to take them out. Then there's these spider robots which are heavily armoured from the front but have a huge design flaw in the way that their power core is completely exposed from the back and can be shot at. I I mean, that's like putting a doggy door on the back of a Sherman tank. These enemies piss me off the most though, because it seems like you're always fighting a bunch of them during almost every single encounter, and they've very clearly been designed around co-op play. If you somehow manage to get a second person to play critters with you, either by holding their family hostage or holding a gun to their genitals, well then I'd imagine it'd be a piece of piss with one player distracting them while the other player goes to kill. However, if you're a pathetic loser like I am and you're playing solo, you've instead got to rely on the AI to do that for you. The game doesn't always take that into consideration. And this might be fine if they only ever showed up every now and then, but like I said, you fight these stupid things almost every single time in combat. So it becomes this very boring combat loop of using a shotgun to take out the drones, as it's by far the most effective means, and then playing peekaboo with an assault rifle to take out these spiders. Yeah, not even much of the other weapons, you know, the remaining 3 of them. Yeah, that's right, this game has 5 weapons in total. 5. Count 'em. Shotgun, assault rifle, the machine gun, a grenade launcher, and an RPG. That's it. You can also throw grenades and eventually time bombs, but can only ever hold a couple of these at any one time. And then the third enemy you're up against, the T-600s armed with miniguns, who again fight you in absolute droves, and you're all but forced into using the grenade launcher or an RPG against them. For the last
Our
couple of
work
levels
is
in
done.
the game here, you're
Full
pretty
K
much
will
just
have no help
like in
from
a single
Bridgeworth
line's
now.
worth of these guys.
See you back
There's
at
so
camp.
many RPGs and grenade launchers scattered around the area that they may as well put a neon sign over each of them, because it makes no sense to use anything else. And how they can make a Terminator game again and not include something like that rifle is just fucking.
Still want to join the resistance, Barnes?
I understand that this takes place early in the war, and maybe the Resistance hadn't gotten their hands on Skynet tech and like reverse engineered it or whatever, but man, this is a boring ass lineup. I can actually pinpoint the moment in the campaign when I realised I wasn't going to get my hands on any better weapons. It was after this bit where you had to like defend a subway station from an onslaught of enemies, and I knew that if they were going to add in some more guns, this was going to be the most logical time to do it. And of course, they didn't, and my worst fears were realised as I spent the last 25 minutes of the game just putting countless T-600s out of commission with an RPG. You know, this really is one of those games that looks like the kind of thing you'd see someone playing in a TV show or a movie. You know, in like TV shows and movies when there's like a character playing a video game, and because they can't afford to license an actual game, they have the person playing something made up just for that scene. And it always looks like a mishmash of every video game trope at the time. That right there is Terminator Salvation.
Alright, let's roll!
It's just so uninspired, and it doesn't do anything you haven't seen. Like having to take out a hunter killer with an RPG twice, and I mean, how many shooters have you played that require you to shoot down an aircraft with a rocket launcher? Or just countless instances when you're on the back of like a Jeep or something, firing a turret at an endless swarm of enemies in combat to shoot. And of course, the turret has to have that stupid mechanic where it overheats if you fire it too much. And again, can I just go on the record saying here how much I fucking hate this mechanic? The cinematics are sloppy to watch with
So long.
crappy animations and even worse voice acting. Yeah, I love this one too, how John sticks his hand to his head when he's supposed to be using his earpiece. And it's like they didn't even bother to double check any of this stuff. Finally, there's no collectibles, there's no unlockables, and outside of the co-op mode, there's no reason to replay this thing. Outside of just showing it to your therapist to explain what you went through, or using it for some kind of elaborate torture routine at a CIA black site. I'll give them credit in one regard though, and that's that the music is actually good. At one point, I think I even heard that T-1000 motive from the second film. I mean, hey, look, it took 4 games, but someone finally got the idea of what these games are supposed to sound like.
Seriously think this is gonna work?
I guess I like the main menu too. You know, that's like a nice simple aesthetic, and the background image is kind of atmospheric. But yeah, you know a game is really bad if I have to reach as far as praising the main menu. I mean, look, Salvation isn't anywhere near
Soma,
as painful to
what
play
is happening
as some
here?
of these other games
Bandits,
were, and it is like
taking
a
advantage of the
disorder
disorder in Sussex to fill
but
their
it really is
pockets.
just another
Odin smiles
lackluster
on us
movie
today.
video game
Let us
tie-in,
make
one of
sure
the
this
dozens
place
that
is
have
burned to the
gone without
ground.
much of a fuss.
Fulker
And
will
at
get
least
no
it is
more
kind
weapons
enough to
from
not
here.
waste too much
We
of my
could
time,
charge
having
in
to be
while they are
beaten in a couple
distracted,
of hours.
but it would be safer to use fire arrows.
It's about all you can expect for a game based off a crappy movie, and it
We
really wasn't
burn
even
them
gonna go
from
any other
afar.
way, but it still deserves
Watch
to
them
join the
scatter
others at
like
the bottom
cats.
of a lead
A
smelting
sound
pit,
decision.
that's for damn
I
sure.
agree. Archers! Take your positions! Stand ready, Eivor.
Much
When they
like the
see us,
film,
they
the
will
video
charge.
games are
We
bad
must
more
defend the
often than
men.
they are good. After the release of Genesis, it seemed developers pretty much had no faith in the franchise at all anymore. And most of everything that came out afterwards were mobile games released for the Android or the iOS. I wouldn't count on seeing a remaster or remake for any of these in the future, but you know what? Maybe that's probably for the best. I still say that if you're
I should
after
not
the
be
most
seen in this
authentic,
area.
really true to the source material experience you can get,
The
well,
best
Terminator
defense is to
Resistance is your
attack.
best bet.
Go! Get in their teeth!
Move in,
Resistance
men!
has got a
Storm
dope
the
soundtrack,
town!
a fun campaign, and it's incredibly based on films. Plus, it won't leave you with a swollen knuckle from punching your couch in anger. I just hope if Arnie ever comes back to lend his voice talents to any more Terminator games before he goes off to that gold stick in the sky, that it's for something as honed as Terminator Resistance is, and not just these other abominations I talked about in the video. Because I just don't know at this point if I'd have the energy to cover it up.
No! No! That's new leather!
Better use +500. It's like playing bridge for the first time. There's no grandma's on your team. Hi, Grandma. +500. It's true.
Hey guys, this video is sponsored by SteelSeries, so make sure to stick around after the end to find out how you can get a discount on your next order. When you mention the name Audition, I think most people would immediately think about the Saints Row series. But for me, it's always been one of their earlier titles with the original Red Faction and its sequels. Set in the year 2075, the first game was a first-person shooter with the premise that after Earth's natural resources were depleted by Zoomers and their genetically enhanced offspring, humanity has taken to exploring other planets and minerals, one of them being Mars, which is where the majority of the game takes place. The first game you're playing as a guy named Parker, who plans a kid's working for the Old Tall Mining Corporation, but then soon finds out that working there is worse than being a moderator on a workers are treated like crap, they lack basic human rights, living and working conditions are dangerous, and worse than that, there's a disease called the plague that's killing off people at random.
And then there's the plague killing off miners left and right.
So really, 2075 doesn't sound all that different to the current year. So a rebellion is launched by the eponymous Red Faction group, and Parker finds himself caught in the middle of it. And that's kind of the same premise from game to game. You're pretty much just fighting back against some kind of powerful organization, whether it be the Old Tall Mining Corporation, mercenaries, or various military and other factions in the sequel. But it all started way back in 2001 when a local miner named Parker kicked the whole thing off.
Okay, let's go.
Now, Parker doesn't utter so much as a single word during the gameplay itself, but during cinematics, he's frequently chatting, showing off the kind of lip syncing and facial animation that I've really come to expect from early 2000s gaming. And it might have just gone down as another shooter from that same time period, only it did have a pretty nifty trick up its sleeve. You see, there was one main thing in particular that Red Faction was banking on. Just go and watch any of those old trailers or gameplay demos and you'll see what I'm talking about. And this thing was the geomod technology. It's a pretty cool idea for the time. It's a brand new engine where you could blow down walls, you could carve your own path through the environment to achieve your goals and all that kind of stuff. And for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, it actually seems like they pulled the whole thing off. But it doesn't take long to play to see that the engine's kind of superficial at best. And outside of a handful of instances, most of which are more or less scripted, you don't even really have to worry about destroying walls to progress. One section really early on when you're making your way out of the mines has got this APC crossing the bridge. And you can just shoot this bridge apart with a rocket launcher and watch that APC tumble off the ledge. This kind of stuff is about the best it ever gets, and it's just a bit of a bummer that you don't get to see it more often for the rest of the game.
Don't
stuff was just still a burgeoning concept, and while I don't think that they really mastered it here, I do have to admit that it's an interesting mechanic, so you've got to give it credit. I don't think it's a bad looking game either. It's about on par with whatever was out at the same time. There's a space station level in here that I think just still looks gorgeous, with really impressive lighting, and the scale of some of these other areas is cool too. Now there's two other things I think are worth mentioning with the engine, and that's the way it handles mirrors and glass. The way this engine handles mirrors has to be the top 10, or maybe bottom 10 I should say, for working mirrors in video games. I know SWAT 4 had some pretty bad mirrors, and though I've also never played it, I know that Mafia 3 had mirrors that apparently looked like a gateway to hell. But man, these mirrors in Red Faction, they're definitely up there, and it's very clearly just a television screen playing back what's standing in front of it. It's kind of like having a zoom in on yourself. On a positive note though, the other thing is the glass. Now you see, in pretty much every other played up until that point, if you shot a window, it broke. It didn't matter where you shot it, it just broke. In Red Faction though, the window was shattered depending on the spot you actually hit it, and it looked way more dynamic. Now you see, in pretty much every other FPS I'd played up until that point, if you shot a window, it broke. It didn't matter where you shot it, it broke. In Red Faction though, the window would shatter depending on the spot you actually hit it, and it looked way more dynamic. And I think it might have been the first time that I've ever seen a game do this. One of the simplest comparisons to make with Red Faction, I think, is Half-Life. I mean, it's pretty much Half-Life on Mars, which, having said that, I think is kind of funny, considering that Half-Life 2 would take that realistic glass physics even further, having individual shards that chip away. But I really do think that Red Faction's taken a lot of cues here from that iconic game, featuring our favourite non-speaking theoretical physicist. I mean, it's very similar in the way that you start off with a weapon, or then get a melee weapon and a pistol. In Half-Life, it was the crowbar and a Glock, and in Red Faction, it's the stun prod and the ultimate pistol. This all happens a lot quicker in Red Faction, though, within the span of about 30 seconds, but still
not
the same
banded rebel,
quality.
but
Like
trained
Half-Life 2, the
Saxon warrior.
progression through the world is also done in real time as you move seamlessly from one area to the next. Later on, there is a couple of times when it changes locations, but you're still moving from point to point yourself. You're rarely teleported and suddenly in this entirely new area, and you can usually backtrack if you really want to as well. It also has a very similar weapons selection system, with weapons broken down into categories, and instead of a HEV suit with a power supply, it's a mining suit, which even has a very similar looking helmet to the HEV suit. There's even a bit later on in the game when you're captured and lose all of your weapons. Yes, sounds familiar.
Planes are crashing and no one can see why. They've never seen anything like it.
The worst case is unfolding.
You think this is deliberate? Matthew Fox stars in the brand new Stan original series, Last Light.
Your expertise makes you a target. I'm an
I don't know where my wife and kids are. It's the ultimate fight to save the world from a...
Shut the fuck up, man.
Though it doesn't really last all that long, because Red Faction's pacing in the second half of its campaign is just all over the place. And I think that's really the good and the bad part about Red Faction is that campaign. I mean, it starts off so strong, it has this really great sense of momentum, but then
Hello
about
and
halfway
welcome.
through it just kind of nosedives, and it never really recovers, just feeling
This
kind of
could be
rushed
very
right up
useful.
until the end.
Try to replenish your stock.
Right, so the start of the game is actually pretty cool. You're inside the mines at the time the revolution begins, and then from that point on, all you're really trying to do is meet up with the resistance so you can get the hell off the planet. These early areas in the mine introduce the pistol, the riot shield, and the cattle prod. Cattle prod? No, what the fuck's that thing called? These early areas in the mine introduce the pistol, the riot
All
shield,
done.
and the riot prod. The latter two you'll probably never use. I say that about the riot shield because it's purely a defensive weapon, and about all you can do with it is whack someone with it, which does so little damage that I think you'd hurt them more if you farted in their face. Scum! And the same thing with the riot baton, because whenever you've got this thing, you'll always have a pistol handy, so there's no real reason to swap from a ranged weapon to a melee one. If you could have used the shield and the baton at the same time, well then they might have really been cooked with gas. Like maybe you could bash someone with a shield to stun them, and then use that baton for a finisher. But alas, they're both about as useful as a flying cameraman and a porno shoot. Need help! The pistol isn't very good either, and the spread on this thing when you're shooting it is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, it has to be one of the most inaccurate pistols of all time. It doesn't help that the enemies have this tendency to slide all over the place like they're wearing roller skates. Yeah, get used to hearing the same enemy dialogue over and over, because these old tall guys have about 3 or 4 lines of banter, and they seem to repeat it ad nauseum.
Just you and me, miner!
And I though, seeing them go from a trash-talking tough guy to shitting their pants when they've been injured is pretty damn funny. From this point on, you're also introduced to your hacker buddy Hendrix, who gives useful information along the way about where to go and what to do, along with the goals of the Red faction. Not to mention just being an absolute bro of the highest tier.
Thank God.
These starting areas, I think, also show off the Geomod stuff pretty well too, letting you play around with some explosive charges and the rocket launcher. There's a massive driller that I think only shows up once in the entire game, and if this thing ain't a blatant reference to Total Recall, then I don't know what's real anymore.
Oh shit.
And then not too soon after this, you get the shotgun, which is actually pretty damn awesome. All weapons in the game have a primary and an alternate fire mode, and the on-fire for this thing is the fastest firing mode, unloading all of your shells super quickly. I've always really loved the look and the sound of this shotgun, and it's really effective against these first few enemy types. And I mean, just listen to it, it's glorious. After that, you'll probably find the assault rifle, which is again pretty damn useful, offering burst and full auto firing modes. There's one thing I also want to bring up at this point, and that's the music, which is fucking awesome. One of my favourite tracks comes at a point when you first get to drive a submarine, and it is pure, unfiltered, early 2000s video game soundtrack at its absolute finest. The campaign, I think, is definitely saved early on here by some of these vehicle sections, especially the submarine and that gunship later on, both of which control super smoothly and are just a blast to use, no pun intended. But these also help to reinforce the size of the planet itself. I mean, you often forget that you're not in Kansas anymore. You're now on Mars, and these sections are always these long, cavernous tunnels that really help to re-establish how you're a small cog in a very vast and empty machine. Well, I mean, not empty. There's plenty of enemy gunships waiting for you along the way, and it's really fun blowing them to smithereens. I'd expect no less from the same developers who created the Descent series, and with those gunship sections in particular, I mean, all I think it needed was a few more different flying enemies, and these sections could have really felt like a spiritual successor. I can't help but feel that there was wasted potential here. I mean, the Descent games were set inside mines that were taken over by hostile robots, and it would have been a really perfect opportunity to introduce a new enemy type here. There could have been like reprogrammed bots that Ultor had fashioned to deal with rebels, something like that. But if we start talking about missed opportunities, well, we're all going to be here until we start to bleed from grass holes.
If you're not gonna help, shut up.
Anyway, at this point, things start to take a bit of a shift and it turns into a stealth game. Well, obviously stealth, where you're trying to find and escort an Ultor employee to the rebels.
Take the silence
I
pistol.
appreciate your efforts to spare the innocent, Abel.
Use it only when you
At least
absolutely
we
have
saved
to.
some lives here.
Stealth here doesn't try
One
to be
day,
super
Saxon and
complex.
Dane,
It's about as
Norse and
simple as
Britain,
just staying
live
a
as
fair
brothers
distance
and
away from
sisters,
someone
as
so
they
they
do in
can't
London.
detect you.
I only
If
wish
you
the
are
path to
detected,
peace
you
were
can
not
pretty much
paved
shoot
with
your way
so
through
many
the whole thing
skulls.
anyway. It's just
We
for
cannot
some
choose the
reason,
way the world
you can't
is.
hold other
The
weapons
only
when you're
choice is how to
inside, so
face
you're
it.
limited to the pistol. I don't know, I guess part of his
Abel,
outfit doesn't
forgive
have
me.
enough pockets or something.
I have slain
Once
too
you find
many
this
of my
guy
own
who works
people
for
already.
Ultor, you've then got to babysit him
Cannot kill
until you
more.
link up with the Red faction.
I
Then
must
there's a
return
series
to
of
London.
levels that has to be one of the
And
coolest
you,
things in the
Aztec,
whole
you
campaign.
feel the
You get to
same.
fly a gunship.
Someone has to keep an eye on him in the big city. He would only get himself killed otherwise.
We took this camp together, so ask no more of you.
Battle ends with a boss
Return
fight
home,
against a big
and let
ass
your friendship
robot
be a
which has to
beacon
be
to our
lured and
peoples.
then trapped inside a giant
Godspeed,
incinerator shell.
Abel.
And I do
I
kind of
pray.
appreciate
Man,
how
this
this
game
is
looks
sort of that
fucking
boss fight,
great.
just kind of shooting it until it explodes.
Thank God.
It's also probably around this time you'll find the submachine gun for the first time. And not only does this share the same ammo as the pistol, but it also lets you swap out to the same ammo as the assault rifle. Essentially,
Huh?
makes both guns redundant. I don't know the logistics of how a gun can use two ammo types like that, but I mean, hey, it's the future.
The
We're on
fuck?
Mars,
A
so
submachine gun can
shit.
fold fucking 5 by
At this point,
5.7?
again, I mean, after probably getting bored
Kirsten,
of escorting that
I'm glad
arsehole
to
for the
see
last
you
half
again.
hour, now you're moving
How's your
through
family?
caverns and
Alvida
tunnels,
keeps my
having to fight
house
these
and
weird
heart in order.
monsters, along
She
with
has
driving
even
the
charmed
world's
that old
slowest
shrew,
ATV.
Adrid.
In Ellerich, he has not returned.
I hear stories of a man full of
At this point is
tempests.
where things start to
picking
head
fights
south,
in
with the introduction
taverns.
of one of the main antagonists,
We must
an evil
hope.
scientist named Kate,
When
who
hope is
kinda
all
looks
we
like a
have.
shriveled
I am
nutsack.
sorry for your
Say
troubles.
Kate 5 times
We're glad
really
for your
fast,
help.
it almost
I have
sounds
brought
like
for
you're
you a
saying
ram of
Kate.
unsurpassed craftsmanship. Their gates
You
will
spend a
not
fair bit of
hold
time
long
chasing
against
this
it.
guy,
That is
during
a
which
fine
he
gift
chimes in on the
indeed.
radio to
I'll make good
intimidate,
use of it.
because I guess
Fight
Parker's
hard,
frequency is giving
Eivor.
out more than your
When
mum's
have I done
mobile number.
otherwise?
Something is hungry.
Until you finally corner corner him for what's probably the toughest fight in the game. It's also, I think, one of the most dreadful because he fires out these energy blasts which just go straight through solid walls. Not to mention they can kill you in almost a single shot. And after he's dead, it really starts to mark the beginning and the end for this campaign. Because I really do think all of what comes next is just such a stark contrast in quality.
And hundreds more will die unless we find a cure for the plague.
I mean, look, I'm not saying the first half is a masterpiece. It has some crappy spots here and there.
So Majalskona. You seem grave.
I'm thinking on the battle to come. Every conflict has a cost. I wonder who will pay this time.
We are no strangers to loss, you and I.
The ache of absent souls is a wound that never heals. But we may yet return your brother to your side. There is that.
Fulke and her men will bear the cost today, not us.
I wish I were as sure of it as you.
Ever my staunch ally, Lufina. Are your men ready?
They are. Bows strung and arrows fletched. We will harry the enemy from the flanks to keep them off your back. They will not have a moment's peace from us.
I know I can count on you, Lubina.
What are friends for?
Uba, any advice before we begin?
Advice? You need none of that. You stand in no one's shadow, Eivor.
Lofty praise from the son of Ragnar Lothbrok.
It may be that one day our paths lead us to doom, Eivor. But at least we can say the footprints we left were our own.
Bishop Deolov. Strange to see a man of God on the battle lines.
It may surprise you, but I was no stranger to horse and hunt in my younger days.
It is Saxons we fight this day, Deolov. Not Britons.
Wait,
not in
what?
Mercia.
How the fuck are you still alive? I thought you were dead.
Corruption of God's word. If I can assist in her downfall, I will.
Then you are welcome here, friend.
What the fuck? I thought you were dead. You looked dead when we fucking last saw you. What the f- How is this motherfucker still alive? I swear that fucking witch bitch fucking killed him. Poisoned him or some shit. What the fuck?
The agent of chaos. Fulke's men are chasing their tails, not knowing where you will strike next.
Porchester has neither the supplies nor the forces to keep us out now.
And you have bought time for your allies to arrive. Many have come, not least the bishop here.
As I promised. As the keeper of God's word, it would be poor form if I did not keep my own.
Now, if the talking is done, there's blood to be spilled.
Eivor, dark news. We found a letter on one of the dead. Fulke has called for aid.
Reinforcements.
A Saxon army marches from Winchester.
Then my men and I will ride to meet them. We will harry them every step of the way to buy you time.
We may begin the assault at once, or you might wish to speak with your allies, if you've not done so already.
Warm words do thaw the chill of battle fear.
I will not be long.
Return when you are ready.
Hey! There's no need for this.
Your warriors are eager for battle. Are you?
We march. When the sun sets on this day, Sigurd will be returned to us, and Fulke's head will be on a spike.
Let us begin.
Eivor! Did you enjoy the gift I left you in Canterbury?
You will die today, Fulke! But your men may live if you come here to me and settle this alone!
We have nothing to settle. Die on these walls if you will. It is your choice.
No wall is high enough to keep me from you.
Then come! Claim your brother if you can. I shall wait with him. If you would find us, you need only follow his screams.
Fulke! What will the skulls say when they speak of this day? They will say we unleashed such rampant slaughter, that Odin himself stirred on his throne to watch. They will say that ravens blackened the sky, to feast on Saxon dead. So raise your swords with me now, brothers and sisters, for today is the day we carve our names into legend! I'm coming for you, brother.
So many battles and so few scores, Basim. What's your secret?
I don't get hit.
Aha! The simplest strategies are the best.
Let's go!
Arrows incoming!
Shield!
Arrows coming!
Clear the way! Let's take down that palisade!
Put it out! Put it out!
Arrows! Look up!
Arrow fire!
Face us, Fulke! Your cowardice betrays you!
Shields up!
Incoming!
Let's get into it.
Take cover!
Arrow fire!
Another palisade! We have to knock it down!
Incoming!
As always, like and subscribe for more, hit the notification bell and set it to all so you get notified when all of my streams and videos are up and live.
Break open that gate! Watch out for the oil! Courage, men! Let the raven scourge on Saxon! Incoming oil! Right! Courage, men! Let the raven scourge on Saxon meat!
I will fall if I take more blows!
Come on!
We're fighting in! Almost there!
Yeah, fuck your neck, cunt.
Damn you! Keep fighting, men! I'll take care of the gate!
I will fall if I take more blows!
What waits for you on the other side of death, Basim?
I thought I knew once.
Bring 'em! Damn!
Fuck yeah. Get sliced, motherfuckers.
The keep is in sight. We must find our way to it. These Saxon slack bladders are no match for no steel. Sigurd must be close. Up these stairs.
Follow my blade!
God damn it!
Sigurd was here once, but no longer. Where has Folke taken him?
That pussy bitch.
Is this Sigurd's blood? Every instant of your torment, Folke will suffer tenfold.
Where you going, bitch? Yeah, run away!
Church!
You pussy.
Folke must have taken him there. Come on, Basim.
Face us, Fulke! Your cowardice betrays you!
This door will need the strength of two. Hey, come here. Folke.
I have done all I could to help him, Ava. The rest is up to you.
No! No! Brother. I'm here for you. I have you.
Let me stay with him. You deal with Fulke.
I'll come back for you. I promise.
Where are you, you little shit? Come out and face me, you pussy.
You cower for me, Fulke, like a rat in the dark.
We're all in the dark, Ava. It is the search for the light that brings us closer to the gods.
Save your babble. Death is our language now.
You fight beneath the banner of ignorance, Ava. I could pull back the curtain for you, give you a glimpse of what lies beyond.
I need nothing from you. This ends here.
A pity to kill one with such potential.
Where your fine words now, Paladin?
If you will not raise your eyes to the light, I will bury you in the dark.
So, you can fight after all.
You meddle in matters you do not understand. You are more like Sigurd than you know. Do you not wonder, Eivor, at the things I have learned?
Every word you say is madness.
Sigurd is an ancient one, an archon, Nephilim, Isu, call him what you will. He is reborn.
He's my brother and my Jarl, and you're mindsick.
He is everything we should hope to be.
Fulke! Damn you to hell! Fulke! You can't run from me forever!
Where you gonna go now, bitch?
Nobody touch her. She is mine.
You are too late, Eivor. I have opened your brother's mind to the truth. That is my victory. And you will go with me to the grave.
She has saved your brother!
Animals we are. Spit and vomit. Shit and soil. Sigurd is so much more. I gave him that understanding. That gift.
You gave him pain!
Yes! To awaken him! All that power, all that potential locked away. A god trapped in a prison of bones. Pain was necessary to free him. Behold this terrible beauty. The beauty of the divine.
Hers was the great work, the highest achievement of humankind. Now you, Eivor, you must carry it forward.
Sigurd.
I can walk. Let me walk.
Sigurd.
Eivor. I will fight. As a thresher through a field of wheat, mad one.
What has she done to you?
Eivor! We delayed them as long as we could.
Reinforcements from Winchester have come.
Get Sigurd to a boat. I will hold them off till you're safely away.
Fight well, Eivor. Find us at the settlement when you can.
Archers! To the walls!
Back down, these Saxon dogs! Don't they give up?
Stand with me, Uba. We'll turn the tide. Keep your wits about you, Thomas. Don't get careless now. One last effort. Drive them back. Is that the last of them?
We have beaten them back for now, but without Guthrum's army, we do not have the numbers to hold this fort.
We found Sigurd. That is what matters.
Guthrum was hasty in his judgment, Eivor. You are fit to stand with the best of us. Go to your brother. The words of one beloved will heal him faster than herbs. I will see to matters here.
May the gods guide you, Uba, until we meet again. There's one more thing.
What are you doing still talking to me? Enough goodbyes. Go to Sigurd.
Yes. Be well, Uba. So, Majalskona, it seems we have won.
A great victory. Not even these walls could stand against us.
This land will be ours in time. What now for you?
Uba and I will go west, driving the Saxons before us. Alfred will not hold the crown much longer.
I hope one day to see you both there.
I would like that.
Control yourself!
How did you like the taste of battle?
That was... exhilarating. Reminds me of my younger days.
Had you not delayed those reinforcements, we might never have succeeded. You are brave for a priest.
Do not underestimate the faithful. We give our lives to a god we cannot see or touch. There is no greater bravery than that.
Zuvina, I'm glad to see you made it through.
Be proud, Eivor. You found Sigurd, against the odds.
I found his shadow. But I must hope that the scars Fulke has inflicted on his mind will heal.
Sigurd is strong. It will take more than pain to break him.
You did not see him, Luvina. There was an emptiness in his eyes.
I am sorry to hear that. Let us hope for the best.
Birsten, your ram was invaluable in breaching this fortress.
A trifle in comparison to the great service you have rendered me.
You will have a good story to tell Alvida upon your return.
There is that. But battle is not so thrilling and glamorous as the stories tell. I shall have to spruce it up a little.
Oh!
Sigurd Jarl, back where you belong. I missed you, my brother.
Yeah, you missed me? Yeah. Once or twice, I hear.
What?
You took your time to find me. Was it for this? To enjoy your time on my throne?
I did only what you asked of me.
And you slew all those who questioned you.
That is not what happened. Ranvi will tell you.
Oh yeah, we'll see. My dear wife, brought to me as a gift by her clan to pacify my ambition. Yes, I'm sure she will be the one to tell me the truth.
What did that witch Fulke do to you?
You cannot even begin to imagine the things I've seen. What I've learned. Born of gods is who I am. A lord of war. A Roman Mars. I know who I am. I know my destiny. And you will not hinder me!
Brother.
Forgive me. I am faint. Tired of the day and all that has passed. I need air.
He's been this way since his return. Could you speak with him? Settle his mind.
I don't think that'll work.
I can try.
Stand with cheer, one and all. Today is a day of celebration. Our Jarl is with us. Tonight, let us drink and...
Basim, will you not join us?
In time, I may celebrate. But tonight is a melancholy mood. I would rather sit here quietly, alone, with my thoughts.
I understand.
Do not let Sigurd's present mood upset you. He spoke warmly of you as we sailed here. I believe he still trusts you more deeply than he can express.
We trust each other.
That is clear. Enjoy the feast, Eivor.
Ranvi, Sigurd has been through so much. Be patient with him.
Of course. I cannot imagine. The savagery of that woman, Fulke.
For all her wretchedness, she seemed to like him. I know that sounds strange.
How do you mean?
She claimed to know him, to admire him. Said he was a greater man than we could ever know. Yet for all her praise, she tortured him to the brink of madness and death. I do not understand why.
In time, Sigurd may come around. And if he does, he may be willing to speak.
Before that time, it would be best to keep all discussions about us to yourself.
Of course. Now is not the time.
I have no guilt, no regret for what we have done. But we should be careful.
Agreed.
Thank you. And know that, however far away, you are always in my thoughts.
I know. I feel the same.
Ranvi.
Have you spoken with Sigurd yet?
Not yet. Soon. Where is Sigurd gone? There you are, brother. What are you doing here? I was looking for you. Sigurd.
Dag died defending my honor?
So he claimed.
Then he was a fool. My honor needs no defense. It is stone solid. Unblemished.
I offered him a way out, but...
Say nothing more of the past. It is gone. There is a rift as deep as death between then and now. I was tested, Eivor, in a crucible of blood and fire. And in my agony, I was reborn. You may think me less than I was. But this is not so. I am greater than before. My mind is a wellspring of prophecies, visions that tell me who I truly am. And for all that, I am grateful for my suffering.
Sigurd, I want to understand. But all this, all you say makes little sense.
Basim saw these things in me. Fulke, too. Despite her cruelty, she spoke the truth. I am more than the man I was. More than this hobbling stick that stands before you. You must look harder, Eivor. Deeper. See for yourself what they found in me. Do you see it? My greater self.
I don't know what that means.
Look. This is the face of a god.
I see only my brother and my truest friend. Return to where he is loved and cherished. Where he's meant to be.
You are kind. But your eyes are clouded by the past. A place I can no longer see. I fear our paths diverged long ago. Go. I wish to be alone. Return to my feast and drink for me. Celebrate the days to come in my name.
message has come. Now it seems the wind calls me back to Randi. Best tell her the good news.
My love. What happened yesterday? You and Sigurd disappeared during the feast, and when he returned, he went straight to our room without a word.
We talked for a time. I asked many questions, but got few answers. I wish I could say more.
Do you think Sigurd knows? About us?
I don't think so. He would have said something. Sigurd wants to blame me for every mishap that has befallen him, but gives me no credit for his rescue. I don't understand.
Yet he does speak with you. With me, he has gone totally silent. So, what now?
This is for Sussex. We burned it to the ground to save one man. Yet he's barely the man we were searching for.
Quite so.
Evil.
Hello. Need something forged?
Good day. Is Gunnar about, or did he leave and not mention it?
My name is Rima, and Gunnar is a good friend of mine. Asked me to run his shop while he's away.
It is good to meet you, and strange to see Gunnar away from his forge.
Well, as far as I know, he's got a very compelling and beautiful reason for his absence. So here I am.
Well, if Gunnar has faith in you, I do too.
Then I say you have fine taste. Have a look at what I've got.
May I see your stores? that be all? I must take my leave. So long. Farewell, Eivor. I would like to...
You should get that. Honestly. Anything you find, bring it to me. Yes, I can resell this. Can't have too many. This was a smart purchase. Done shopping for the...
I'm all...
Always a pleasure, Eivor.
Oh my god, those are fucking garbage.
What have you got for me today?
You done?
May I see?
That be all?
I'll see.
So long.
Lots of hungry fish here.
Hmm.
The water is boiling with them.
Hello, Eivor. That it? Nothing else?
I have to go.
Until next we meet.
What have you got for me today?
You know, you are my second best customer. Only a fool would pass this up. Is that everything?
I would like to see what you have in stock.
Eager to find a new home for these. Nothing else?
I'm off.
Don't be a stranger.
What have you got for...
You done?
I must...
Farewell, Eivor.
I want to see the Alliance map. What awaits in Jorvikshire?
Halfdan Ragnarsson, conqueror of the north, sends his greeting. He wishes to meet with Eivor Wolfkist personally.
Halfdan Jarl. I have heard that man's name so often. I feel as though I know him already.
He is currently entangled in a war with the Picts of the Northern Hills. I suspect he wants your counsel, or your axe. If you are keen to meet him, he asks that you join him at his war camp. I have the location here.
I will go at once.
With caution, Eivor. Jorvikshire is currently at war with the Picts, a proud clan that lives just beyond the Roman wall.
Well guys, I'm going to leave this episode here. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out everybody, bye bye. G'day man.